Eliyahu ben Shah Cohen, commonly known as Eli Cohen, was an Israeli spy. He is best known for his espionage work in 1961 to 1965 in Syria, where he developed close relationships with the Syrian political and military hierarchy and became the chief advisor to the Minister of Defense. Syrian counterintelligence eventually uncovered the spy conspiracy and convicted Cohen under pre-war martial law, sentencing him to death and hanging him publicly in 1965. Eli Cohen was born in 1924 in Alexandria, Egypt, to a devout Mizrahi Jewish and Zionist family. His father had moved there from Aleppo in 1914. He studied at Cairo Farouk University. His parents and three brothers left for Israel in 1949, but he remained to finish a degree in electronics and to coordinate Jewish and Zionist activities. The government initiated an anti-Zionist campaign in 1951 after a military coup, and Cohen was arrested and interrogated over his Zionist activities. He took part in various Israeli covert operations in the country during the 1950s, although the Egyptian government could never prove his involvement in Operation Goshen, an Israeli operation to smuggle Egyptian Jews out of the country and resettle them in Israel due to increasing hostility in Egypt. Israel's secret police recruited a sabotage unit of Jewish Egyptian citizens in 1955, which attempted to undermine Egypt's relationships with Western powers in the Levant affair. The unit bombed unoccupied American and British installations, expecting that this would be considered the work of Egyptians. Egyptian authorities uncovered the spy ring and sentenced two of the members to death. Cohen had aided the unit and was implicated, but they found no link between him and the perpetrators. Following state-sponsored anti-Semitic attacks on its Jewish communities, many of them fled or were expelled, and Cohen was forced to leave the country in December 1956. He emigrated to Israel with the assistance of the Jewish Agency. The Israel Defense Forces recruited him in 1957 and placed him in military intelligence, where he became a counterintelligence analyst. His work bored him and he attempted to join the Mossad, but he was offended when the Mossad rejected him, and he resigned from military counterintelligence. For the next 2 years, he worked as a filing clerk in a Tel Aviv insurance office. In 1959, he married Nadia Majald, born circa 1935, an Iraqi Jewish immigrant and the sister of author Sami Michael. They had 3 children, Sophie, Irit, and Shai, and the family settled in Bat Yam. The Mossad recruited Cohen after Director General Meir Amit, looking for a special agent to infiltrate the Syrian government, came across his name while looking through the agency's files of rejected candidates, after none of the current candidates seemed suitable for the job. For 2 weeks, Cohen was put under surveillance and was judged suitable for recruitment and training. Cohen was then informed that the Mossad had decided to recruit him and underwent an intensive 6-month course at the Mossad training school. His graduate report stated that he had all the qualities needed to become a Katza, or field agent. He was then given a false identity as a Syrian businessman who was returning to the country after living in Argentina. To establish his cover, Cohen moved to Buenos Aires in 1961. In Buenos Aires, he moved among the Arab community, letting it be known he had large amounts of money to put at the disposal of the Syrian Ba'ath Party. At this time, the Ba'ath Party was illegal in Syria, but the party seized power in 1963. Cohen moved to Damascus in February 1962 under the alias Kamal Amin Tha'abet. Mossad had carefully planned the tactics that he was to use in building relationships with high-ranking Syrian politicians, military officials, influential public figures, and the diplomatic community. Cohen continued his social life as he had in Argentina, spending time in cafes listening to political gossip. He also held parties at his home for high-placed Syrian ministers, businessmen, and others. At these parties, Cohen dispensed free-flowing liquor and prostitutes, and highly placed officials would openly discuss their work and army plans. Cohen would pretend to be drunk to encourage such conversations, to which he paid close attention. He would also lend money to government officials, and many came to him for advice. Cohen provided an extensive amount and wide range of intelligence data to the Israeli army between 1961 and 1965. He sent intelligence to Israel by radio secret letters, and occasionally in person. He secretly traveled to Israel 3 times. His most famous achievement was the tour of the Golan Heights, in which he collected intelligence on the Syrian fortifications there. According to an unconfirmed but widely believed story, he feigned sympathy for the soldiers exposed to the sun and had trees planted at every position, placed to provide shade. The Israel Defense Forces were alleged to have used the trees as targeting markers during the Six-Day War, which enabled Israel to capture the Golan Heights in 2 days. Cohen made repeated visits to the southern frontier zone, providing photographs and sketches of Syrian positions. He also learned of a secret plan to create 3 successive lines of bunkers and mortars the Israel Defense Forces would otherwise have expected to encounter only a single line. Cohen was able to find out that the Syrians planned to divert the Jordan River headwaters in an attempt to deprive Israel of water resources, providing information to Israeli forces that enabled them to destroy the equipment prepared for the task. It is claimed that the intelligence that Cohen gathered before his arrest was an important factor in Israel's success in the Six-Day War, although some intelligence experts have argued that the information he provided about the Golan Heights fortifications was also readily available from ground and aerial reconnaissance. Newly appointed Syrian intelligence Colonel Ahmed Soudani trusted no one and disliked Cohen. Cohen expressed fear of discovery to the Mossad on his last secret visit to Israel in November 1964, and he stated that he wished to terminate his assignment in Syria. The purposes of that visit were to pass on intelligence and to enable him to witness the birth of his 3rd child. Despite this, however, Israeli intelligence asked him to return to Syria one more time. Before leaving, Cohen assured his wife it would be his last trip before he returned home permanently. In January 1965, Syrian officials increased their efforts to find a high-level spy using Soviet-made tracking equipment and assisted by Soviet experts. They observed a period of radio silence, in the hope that any illegal transmissions could be identified. They successfully detected radio transmissions and were able to triangulate the transmitter. Syrian security services, led by Soudani, broke into Cohen's apartment on January 24th and caught him in the middle of a transmission to Israel. Cohen was found guilty of espionage by a military tribunal and sentenced to death under martial law. He had been repeatedly interrogated and tortured. Israel staged an international campaign for clemency, hoping to persuade the Syrians not to execute him. Israeli Foreign Minister Golan Meir led a campaign urging Damascus to consider the consequences of hanging him. Diplomats, prime ministers, parliamentarians, and Pope Paul VI tried to intercede. Meir even appealed to the Soviet Union. The governments of Belgium, Canada, and France tried to persuade the Syrian government to commute the death sentence, but the Syrians refused. Nadia Cohen attempted to appeal for clemency at the Syrian embassy in Paris, but was turned away. Cohen wrote in his final letter on May 15, 1965, "I am begging you, my dear Nadia, not to spend your time in weeping about something already past. Concentrate on yourself, looking forward for a better future." Cohen was hanged in the March Square in Damascus on May 18, 1965. On the day of his execution, his last wish to see a rabbi was respected by the prison authorities, and Nissim Indibo, the elderly chief rabbi of Syria, accompanied him in the truck. Syria refused to return Cohen's body to his family in Israel, and his wife Nadia sent a letter to Amin al-Hafiz in November 1965, asking his forgiveness for Cohen's actions and requesting his remains. In February 2007, the Turkish government offered to act as a mediator for their return. Munder Mossoli, the former bureau chief of Hafez al-Assad, claimed in August 2008 that the Syrians had buried him 3 times to stop the remains from being taken back to Israel via a special operation. Syrian authorities have repeatedly denied family requests for the remains. Cohen's brothers Abraham and Maurice led a campaign to return his remains. Maurice died in 2006, and Nadia now leads it. In 2016, a Syrian group calling itself Syrian Art Treasures posted a video on Facebook showing Cohen's body after his execution. No film or video was previously known to exist of the execution. The press announced on July 5, 2018 that Cohen's wristwatch had been retrieved from Syria. His widow mentioned that the watch was up for sale months earlier, and the Mossad managed to capture it. Mossad director Yossi Cohen presented it to Cohen's family in a ceremony, and it is currently on display at Mossad headquarters. Cohen has become a national hero in Israel, and many streets and neighborhoods have been named for him. Prime Minister Menachem Begin, Defense Minister Ezer Weizmann, Chief of Staff Mordecai Ger, and several Mossad operatives all attended his son's bar mitzvah in 1977. A memorial stone has been erected to Cohen in the Garden of the Missing Soldiers in Mount Herzl, Jerusalem. John Shea played Cohen in the television film The Impossible Spy 1987, and Sacha Baron Cohen played him in the Netflix miniseries The Spy 2019. The Israeli settlement Elliot on the Golan Heights is named for him.